Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so today we are going to take a turn in a different direction. In fact, it's going to be the alter ego of the narcissist, or 180 degrees to the other side of the fence, so to speak. So I'm just going to open up with what has transpired in my life and why I'm making videos like this. This may only be a very short period of a week or two, or it may end up being months and months and years, I don't know. But there's something that came into my life that opened a new door. What I'm going to talk about is avoidance. There's something kind of crazy making, at least I think I'm the only one that sees it so far. I finally posted on someone's post. I've been watching a lot of avoidant videos, and I mean a lot, for about 3, maybe 4 months now, maybe longer. Alright, so let me just start it here. So I met someone, I believe it's been about 6 months ago. Didn't really interact with them at all, just, ordered something, walked away. But eventually this person walked up, interacted with me a few times, and it was very, very, charming, very kind, just a very, light, feminine person, and very, very likable. Says most of you've had the Great Wall of China up dealing with narcissist abuse. Now here's the funny thing: this video is not really going to be about narcissists. It's about the other side. It's like, how you have a dark side and you have a light side? Well, this is going to be the other side. So the interesting thing is they use the same tactics, but for completely different reasons. And I think there's something about this which will give you the fullness of the scope of what's going on. I just think, you study narcissist abuse, it's just this nasty, toxic, it's just, God, it's horrible. And I don't like talking about it anymore because it's just negative, and it's like I'm done with it. So I met this angelic person, and I just was like, wow, I really like this person. This is a wonderful, wonderful person, just amazing. And she still is. She just, I'm not going to flip here and say, oh, but no. But I have noticed something, call it, on the avoidant community online, is there's a really, okay, I'm probably going to cuss in this video a little bit, probably maybe not too much, but there is an ass backwards delivery discussion about avoidance. Okay, let's start there. So essentially, I've been watching YouTube videos for months and months and months. I've watched hundreds, possibly over 200 videos in the last probably 6 months. And I'm absorbed into this thing, and I'm going it's something that's been bothering me. I think I already made a video that kind of mentioned what I'm about to mention now. But this video is about this issue. Is everything we are hearing is, here's how you deal with an avoidant. This is what you do when an avoidant does that. And I'm like, wait, where's the videos saying, hey, avoidant, you have issues, you need help, here's how you deal with your issues, this is what you need to do, you need to meditate, you need to practice this, okay, how about this? By the way, the music will go down in about 40 seconds. So if you know anything about avoidance, is when they fall in love with you, or when they open up emotionally to you, or open up intimately, they run. So I'm watching these videos that they're like, okay, how do I say this? It's like they're telling us how to deal with an avoidant when they leave, and you're like, okay. So they could leave up to 2 weeks, to 2 months, to 6 months, even up to 2 years before they come back. And I'm like, this is nuts. This is 2 years. This is not healthy. So they're telling us, Here's how you deal with unhealthy behavior that's toxic, that destroys relationships and rips hearts and souls out. And here's how you deal with it. No. That should be saying, avoidance, look. When someone does this, it means they love you. And when someone loves you, that's a good thing. And what you do is not run away, you run to them. This is good, that's bad. But they don't say that. It's like, they'll even tell you, like, look, one of the way avoidance deal with is intimacy is they avoid you. They stop returning your calls. They don't return your texts. They physically disconnect from you. And then what they say is they go into this complete and total dissociated behavior. Now, if you talk to any psychologist or psychiatrist, they're going to be like, yeah, that's not healthy at all. I mean, we all know that. You don't need a doctorate degree to figure that out. But instead of making videos saying, hey, this is not healthy, this isn't good for you alone, let alone trying to have a relationship with someone else. And that's the funny thing is, avoidants want relationships. They want deep love. It's inside them, but it's so protected and so guarded that it's such a diabolical subject, because any experience of them opening up, like, oh shit, I let my guard down for a millisecond, oh, I gotta run for 6 weeks and then I'll come back once I've processed this. You're like, processed what? I was being kind. What's going on? So another thing about avoidance is they essentially, like, I understand they were abused as child. Here's what I really think avoidants are. I really think they're actually empaths that have completely dissociated and disconnected from their emotions and feelings. And I think it's like they were abused by narcissists, and instead of becoming like an empath, it's not like they didn't become an empath, it's like they put a shield around their heart and their soul and their energy and their love. And because of that, they lost connection with the outside world. And one thing I know about avoidance is they are raised to believe that if you need help, that means you're weak. So you should be completely, totally isolated and independent of any love, of any help, of anything. So the minute they think they're getting close to someone, in their eyes, like, oh, that's becoming dependent, and therefore I've got to be independent, and therefore I've got to run away and put up the walls and not return phone calls and text and whatever. And it's because they're like, oh, that's a sign of weakness. It's like, here's the deal. Human beings have intermeshed and worked together for thousands of years. I mean, this isn't some kind of new thing. We need each other, period, end of sentence. Like, the farmer needs oil and gasoline. Do you think he digs an oil well and then he processes the oil and, and turns it into gasoline? No, he doesn't do that. Somebody else does that. Do you think that you start a farm, build a house, build a barn, and get all these cows and dig, like plow the fields every year and pull the stones out and plant the seeds and water it and do? No, you don't. I bet the majority of people on my channel have never once even been on a farm. Human beings have always, even all the way back to the caveman day, have always relied upon each other and worked together and helped each other. That's normal, and guess what? That is healthy. I have never once heard a single person talking about avoidance, making avoidant videos, talk about this and say, whoa. Isolating yourself, running away from people that are kind to you, that are good to you, that care about you, that's wrong, or that's not healthy. And it's not normal. It's just not it's not reality. And yet no one's saying this to avoidance at all. In fact, what they're doing is like, okay, Mr. Healthy person who fell in love with an avoidant. Okay, so here's the deal. You need to change because your behavior around avoidant isn't working. And it's like, wait, what? Okay, see, when avoidant avoids you, what you need to do is, in order to attract them back, you need to avoid the avoidant while the avoidant is avoiding you. Does that not sound crazy ass backwards insane. And then on top of it, they're saying this could last 2 months to 6 months, even up to 2 years. The way you deal with an avoidant is to avoid the avoidant while they're avoiding you, and this is what you need to do. And you need to understand this could last 6 months up to 2 years. And this is how you have a relationship with an avoidant. Please, someone out there in the internet space, tell me, is it just me, or is this absolutely crazy, batshit insane? I don't care what any of you guys think, but this is seriously toxic advice, and this is what they're telling us. It's like they're telling the healthy people, look, here's how you deal with an avoidant. You have to learn how to do toxic behaviors to match and mirror their toxic behaviors in order to have a relationship where they're not there. I mean, I don't mean not there like a little bit. I mean, they're not there. Like, they won't talk to you for frickin' months. Personally, I think this is toxic behavior. It's like toxic behavior teaching healthy people to engage and to join in their toxic behavior. Here's how my video would go on dealing with an avoidant. By the way, just so you know, I have the opposite feeling for avoidance than I do narcissists. I really think avoidants are very kind, caring. God, it's kind of a hard thing to say. I think they have beautiful hearts. And I think that's why we're so attracted to them. They genuinely have good hearts. They just very little let it out. But that little bit, you're like, wow, this is a good person inside. It's just that they close up and they distance themselves. And they do, here's the funny thing, they do a lot of tactics that narcissists do, but it's from the opposite perspective. And here's what I mean. Narcissists use their breadcrumbing and their gaslighting and their ghosting and trying to think what else. Just the stuff that they do, the crazy making. They do it to hurt you on purpose. Whereas a avoidant, they don't do it to hurt you. They do it to protect themselves, so they'll avoid you, which is ghosting. Okay, they're called avoidants for a reason. So they literally they cut contact, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, why aren't you talking? Like, what happened? But they're not doing it to hurt you. They're doing it because they're scared. They're doing it because they have this strategy, psychological strategy, where they completely dissociate. They go into the front part of their brain, and it's how they quiet everything down and calm everything down. Because here's the thing: is when they start to open up to you emotionally, or intimately, their emotions start to fly all over the place, and it's literally like burning their hand on the stove. So when they get close to you emotionally, they get really scared and they run. So I understand this, and that is really cool that they're not doing these things to hurt you. They're doing these things. It's similar. Now watch this, but it's from the other side of the fence. It's not from attack mode. And because of that, it doesn't hurt the way a narcissist does it. It still hurts, but it's not in... How to explain this? It's almost like a narcissist stabs you with a knife, where an avoidant, they avoid you, and it hurts emotionally, but from a place like you care still. So it's not that terrifying gang stalking, and all that stuff. So ideally, if I made videos on avoidance, I would say, well, you need therapy, you need help. Avoiding people is not healthy behavior. It's not normal. And the reason why you can't seem to keep a relationship is because you keep leaving the relationship. I mean, I would just be saying, hey, here's your issues. Here's what's going on. But here's the thing, though. All of these coaches or therapists or whatever they call themselves will tell you, yeah, but avoidants don't want to hear that. They don't want to deal with the reality. And I'm like, and that's the problem. So enabling them, playing along with this freaking insane game, it's never going to help them, because if they get close to someone at work, well, they're going to quit their job. If they get close to someone in a relationship, well, they're going to pull away. And it's like in their now here's the other crazy thing they'd say about avoidance is they will eventually, there's a video that I just saw yesterday say avoidants are designed to leave. to leave you. In other words, they will never stay in a relationship. So even after ghosting you so they could process, and it's funny, like you need 6 months to process something, really? Up to 2 years. So even if they do come back and they get into a relationship with you, a lot of different videos, and these are people that are called themselves avoidant, like, yeah, or they'll say I was an avoidant, and they'll say they will leave you. And you're like, so what's the use of even getting into a relationship with an avoidant? You should be telling people, like, look, they're going to leave you, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, so what you need to do is exit stage left and have compassion for them and be understanding. But here's the thing, they need to get their shit together, period, end of sentence. By coddling them, by enabling this behavior and joining, what you got to do is avoid the avoidant to avoid the avoidance so they come back. It's like, that's not normal, that's not healthy. Now, I don't necessarily mean healthy because that's the way I see it. I mean from their perspective, what do they want more than anything? They want closeness. They want intimacy. They want to be loved more than anything in the world. They crave this. See, here's my point. The very strategies and behaviors that they're doing are pulling them away from the very things that they want in life. This is not healthy. This is not going to help you. So again, I've watched videos by avoidants talking about how, okay, so and this was from an avoidant video, I can't remember his name, but he talks about the science of how humans are, our lower brain, etc., unconsciously how we're wired. We are designed and built, it's hardwired into our system to bond with other people. That's just nature, that's normal, that's healthy, it's a good thing. And it's just the way we are naturally. And I think pretty much anyone can say, yeah, that's true. We are designed to love. We are designed to fall in love. We are designed to bond with, siblings and family and friends and neighbors. It's just normal and it's just healthy. Now, with an avoidant, they were neglected at childhood by their parents, and they were not loved. They were, in fact, essentially, I'm not going to make this video about, because this would take an entire video, actually more. But essentially, an avoidant in childhood, whenever they opened up emotionally, their parents either just turned their back on them, neglected them, or yelled at them and say, be strong. Like opening up emotionally is wrong, and like you need to be independent, don't rely on anyone, and so they literally will be like they won't rely on anyone. Like they won't even let people help them at all. So there's a clash of conflicts going on here. It's their natural inborn healthy state of bonding, loving, and being loved is very normal. Reciprocation is a good thing. So they have this inside them. They have this deep, deep yearning to be loved, to be cared for, to be cared about, to be in a reciprocal relationship or relationships with friends and family and whatever. But then they got damaged. And they were psychologically brainwashed and constantly told, oh, that's wrong, that's bad. They were literally turned against themselves. Very much like the way a narcissist does to an empath. So the more you learn about avoidance, you start realizing, like, wait a minute, these people were essentially abused like empaths. And so I think they are empaths that they put the shield around. You know how you put the Great Wall of China around you and you went into isolation? Well, they did that at a very young age and they never, ever came out. Like, they might even peek out the window, just let the window crack like 1 inch, and a little bit of them comes out. Oh shit, screw that! And they shut the door, they shut the window, and then they go into their avoidant phase for 6 months or 2 months, and I've got to process this. It's like, no, they were just so taught and so beaten down that opening up is just wrong, and that's not the way you're supposed to be. So they have this internal conflict of, I want to be loved, I need to be loved, I want to love, and yet then there's this external lesson or teaching, which is wrong, by the way, of no, that's wrong. Don't open up to people. Don't open up. Rely on yourself. And it was just hammered into them at such a young age that it's kind of like it's a strategy, and this is what it is. It's a series of strategies of, oh, this thing over here that you were born with, nah, that's wrong. Avoid that. So avoidants essentially are avoiding themselves. So what they taught were strategies that conflict with their natural, normal, healthy state. And this is why avoidance overthink. In fact, people that overthink and think and think, they were essentially taught like, hey, this natural, normal, healthy thing over here, this is wrong. You can't do this, and here's why. Here's why A, here's why B, here's why C, rule number one, and they have all these different scenarios where they've been filled in their head. Oh no, that's not right either. You shouldn't do that either. Like, oh no, being nice to your friend. Well, no, you should have a bear. You should, and they're taught all this stuff, and they have a lot of like rules and strategies that they're taught that go completely against natural, normal, healthy human behavior. Essentially like empaths. This was done to us too. So I think the difference between an empath and an avoidant, I think avoidant truly on the inside is an empath, but I think at a very young age, their way of dealing with this was not the same way that we did, is they put up this huge shield and barrier, and they're hiding inside. And I do think the other difference is I think they're literally taught that human connection is wrong. You got to rely on yourself. Whereas an empath is told, oh, you should help other people. You should do for me. You should do for others. You should, focus on others. Whereas I think an avoidant is taught like, no, this is wrong. You should avoid people. You should rely on yourself. You should, So whereas an empath, we're taught that helping others is good. So we're not told that that's wrong to receive help necessarily. So this is a different subject. I don't want to go too much further, but essentially, avoidants are just closed up inside, and they closed up at a very young age, and they never learn to open back up. Whereas I think empaths, we were taught to stay wide open so the narcissist can suck the energy off of us, okay? And so they can abuse us emotionally because that gives them a rush, it gives them a high. So here's the deal. Avoidance can be healed. That's the good news. The challenge is I don't think the majority of people out there, in fact, it's less than 100th of 1% of people are very aware of change technology such as NLP. Like the first thing I would do with an avoidant is I would do timeline therapy with them, and then I would also do parts integration probably before the timeline therapy, because they have conflicting parts going on that are in constant battle. This is anybody, even you, if you overthink and think, you're, what should I do? Left or right, either or. You're having competing parts, two parts or more. They're saying, no, you shouldn't do this. You did. No, you shouldn't do that. You should do it. No, you should. And you have this thing spinning, and it spins you in circles. You just have a lot of parts going on. So when you integrate the parts, now you have one thought. Now you have both. What's the word? Resources, strength. Okay, so when a long time ago you're a whole one complete being, atonement, completeness, okay? But then a little part broke off to deal with the situation, then another one. So these little parts suddenly have lost the power of the whole, but they do have their own little resource, okay? But then when those parts separate, now they have a part of one resource, the other one has the other resource, and separately you can't do anything. But if you integrate them, now it's like a car with an engine and wheels and a body and windows and a steering wheel, brakes and gas and ignition. So now you can drive. But if you take the wheels off, and that's a part that's separated, well, the car can't go anywhere, and the wheels can't go anywhere because it doesn't have a car, it doesn't have an engine, doesn't have an axle, it doesn't have gas, etc. But when you connect everything together, now you have the fullness of the power, and those are the people that are in alignment. So this is a form of what we call alignment therapy. It's literally something that I've been trained in, is to help you to become aligned by integrating your parts. Now with an avoidant, this is absolutely what's going on with them. They are in conflict with their natural inborn state and nature, which most human beings are to some degree. Avoidants just happen to have it be in the realm of connecting with people. They're just complete, like some people have it with money. Oh, money is the root of all evil. That's a lie. So now you're in conflict with what you're supposed to feed yourself. You're supposed to put a roof over your head and your family and your children's head. Well, that takes money in the modern world, but you were taught that money is evil. Money is not evil. I remember when Pastor Rex went up and said, money doesn't do nothing. It's what you do with money. When I went up on the pulpit one day, I pulled out some money and I put it up on the pulpit, and I looked at it and I stood on the left side of it and on the right side, and I looked out to the crowd. I'm like, what's it doing? They're like, nothing. I go, exactly. Money doesn't do anything. It's what you do with it. It's your responsibility of how you deal with it. Money doesn't do a damn thing. Money is not evil. Your actions can be evil that you do with money. So here's my point. All of us, in some degree, in some area or areas of life, have been turned against, well, that normal healthy thing that you're supposed to do, or that's good for you, don't do that because it's wrong, and let me whisper in your ears and make up some bullshit. Let me twist the Bible, or let me twist some belief into something that's not true, but I'm going to make you believe it's true. This is what causes parts conflict. So you have rules conflict where one rule says you can, but the other rule says it's wrong if you do. Like money. You're told that, hey, you got to get out there and make money, but then every time you go to church, money's the root of all evil. Money's the root of all evil. I can't tell you. It's in movies. It's in songs. I've heard it since I was a child for decades in the church, outside of the church, in the movies, in TV commercials. I mean, so on the one hand, you're supposed to work hard and make money and pay your bills. But on the other hand, you're told, oh, money's the root of all evil. What's wrong with you? And you're guilted and shamed. So now there's a conflict. So when you heal the conflict, boom, all of a sudden making money is normal, it's natural, it's healthy, and it feels comfortable. And all of a sudden you make more money. It's a good thing. Same thing with an avoidant. They have these conflicts around love, around relationships. Not just loving relationships. It could be work relationships. It could be, reciprocal relationships, healthy relationships. You can heal from this. I think one of the biggest mistakes or sadnesses in life is the majority of people have no idea that there are therapies, newer therapies, that deal with this stuff, that can help you do parts integration. They take you back in your timeline to the first time this happened to you. When you heal that first memory, all the other memories fall off and they're healed. Hey, this is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And if you want, you can get a hold of me for coaching and emotional healing sessions. And if you like, you can go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. All right, God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.